Coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Alrighty, Virginia, we won this thing!
A big win for Republicans in Virginia on Tuesday. What and who Democrats are blaming for their loss. And we'll take you through the numbers one more time for all statewide and local races. A new landmark in downtown Lexington. We'll show you where it will be and what it's supposed to look like. And the local library is planning new programs as they celebrate their 75th anniversary. What to look forward to as it bounces back from the pandemic. All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Shauna Muckle. Tuesday's off-year elections resulted in a major blow to the Democratic Party, with a big victory in Virginia for the GOP. Republican Glenn Youngkin beat Democrat Terry McAuliffe in the governor's race. It wasn't the only race on Tuesday, but it was arguably the most consequential. CNN's Sarah Murray reports.
How much fun!
Republicans across the country celebrating big gains in the first significant elections during the Biden administration.
Alrighty, Virginia, we won this thing!
In Virginia, political newcomer Glenn Youngkin handed former Governor Terry McAuliffe a stinging defeat as he flipped the Commonwealth red 1 year after the state delivered Joe Biden a 10-point victory.
We're empowered by a conviction, a righteous conviction in our children's future. We're strengthened by our collective belief in the Virginia promise.
Democrat McAuliffe made tying Youngkin to former President Trump a focus of his campaign.
We don't need a Donald Trump in khakis.
But the now governor-elect kept Trump at arm's length, even as he welcomed the former president's support. Instead, Youngkin highlighted issues such as taxes, critical race theory, and parents' rights in schools.
Friends, we're gonna embrace our parents, not ignore them.
That playbook a potential roadmap for other Republican candidates to replicate in the 2022 midterms. The biggest referendum, though, perhaps aimed at the Biden presidency, with a majority of Virginia voters saying they disapproved of the president's job performance. That, combined with Democratic inaction on Capitol Hill, leaving the party looking for a path forward.
Look, congressional Dems hurt Terry McAuliffe. I mean, I'm going to be blunt. It's humbling to say it, but if we had been able to deliver infrastructure and reconciliation in mid-October, he could have sold universal pre-K, affordable child care, infrastructure, creating jobs. Our inability to come together and get a result hurt him.
In New Jersey, the only other gubernatorial election this year, incumbent Governor Phil Murphy barely defeated his Republican challenger Jack Ciattarelli. President Biden carried New Jersey by more than 15 points last year. Murphy is the first Democratic governor to be re-elected in New Jersey since 1977. Now let's revisit the Virginia statewide race results. Turning first to the statewide results for governor, Glenn Youngkin still in the lead, the projected winner for this race with just under 51% of the vote compared to Terry McAuliffe's 48%. Moving on to lieutenant governor, Republican Winston Sears is in the lead, again the projected winner for this race with 51% of the vote compared to 49% for Hala Ayala. For Jason Miyares, just under 51% of the vote compared to 49% for Mark Herring. In the House of Delegates race, Ronnie Campbell is the winner of the race with 73% of the vote compared to Sam Soger's 27%. Turning now to the overall House of Delegates breakdown, Republicans have secured at least 50 seats and need just one more to flip control of the chamber. 4 races are still yet to be called. The U.S. House is preparing to debate and may possibly vote on President Biden's $1.85 trillion domestic policy package, as well as the companion $1 trillion infrastructure bill today. The Democrats added back a new paid family leave program, work permits for immigrants, and changes to state and local tax deductions. A nearly all-white jury will decide the fate of 3 white men accused of murdering a black man in South Georgia last year. 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed while he was out for a jog in February of 2020. George McMichael, his son Travis, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan Jr. are charged with the murder. CNN's Martin Savage has more.
I mean, it's devastating.
After 2.5 weeks of jury selection for the trial of the men accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery, only one black person was chosen to serve in the jury.
Seeing the African American jurors come in and they were questioned so harshly by the defense team, and seeing them all struggle, I mean, it was very hard, and it was just, it's like unreal. I mean, I just can't put it into words. I was very shocked that we only had one black African American man.
11 white people make up the rest of the 12-person panel, including the 4 alternates. 5 are men, 11 are women.
The jurors that we have found cut across all lines, cut across gender, cut across age, cut across race and ethnicity.
It's clear that the defense skirted the very edges of the law here by allowing one black on the jury.
Prosecutors filed a motion accusing the defense team of being discriminatory, striking several potential black jurors, they said, based on race. After 2 hours of arguments, Judge Timothy Walmsley seemed to side with the prosecution.
This court has found that there appears to be intentional discrimination,
but ultimately ruled that the case could go forward with the selected jurors.
The Biden administration announced the official deadline for its new vaccination mandate. Certain healthcare workers, federal contractors, and employees at larger businesses must comply with its new vaccine rules by January 4th. That means 84 million employees and 17 million healthcare workers have 2 months to become fully vaccinated. Business groups have called for the administration to delay the deadline or be more flexible. If a worker chooses to stay unvaccinated, they must provide a negative test on at least a weekly basis and wear face masks in the workplace. Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, anchor Jin Nee will give the latest numbers on local elections for Board of Supervisors and school boards.
Not done with the rain yet. Over the next few days, you can expect warm weather with showers and a few thunderstorms. Tune in later for a more detailed forecast.
And there's a plan for a new landmark in downtown Lexington. We'll be live at the site. Next on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Jin Nee. Let's take one last look at some local race results. All right, in Rockbridge County, for the Board of Supervisors, we have Albert Lewis II against Alexis Lamott, with Lewis at 60% of the votes and Lamott at less. For the Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors for Carrs Creek, we have Daniel Lyons against Scott Guys, with Lyons leading at 56% of the votes. For the Rockbridge School Board in Carrs Creek, we have Catherine Brown at 60% of the votes and Morgan McCown behind at 38.6%. For the Buena Vista School Board, where there are 5 candidates running for 4 seats, Lisa Carr at 25% and John Rice at 21%. Roy Moeller will not be on the board. The other 2 candidates are John Roberts and Charles Jolly, who will be on the board. Superintendent Rebecca Wallers hopes to raise wages for substitute teachers in Lexington City schools by January 1st. Waller says this is an essential step for the city to stay competitive with other local school districts and higher paying industries. Walters plans to present comparison data at the November 10th school board meeting. School Board Chair Tim Diet said the raise is possible as long as funds can be found within the current budget. Read Brianna Hatch's full story on our website. A new landmark is coming to downtown Lexington. Reporter Ian Dardany is live at the site to tell us more. Ian?
Right now we're looking at the piece of land sometimes called the Triangle that separates North Jefferson Street and North Main Street. As you can see, the seasonal flowers have gone away, but organizers hope a new permanent welcome will make a statement as you enter Lexington from the north side of town.
After over a year of planning, Main Street Lexington has its final design for a new entryway in downtown Lexington. The entryway will be built on the small strip of land in between North Jefferson Street and North Main Street, and across from the Rockbridge Music and New Opticians Boutique. Rebecca Logan, the executive director of Main Street Lexington, says the new design will provide visitors a more attractive welcome to the town.
It's the entrance into our city from that side of the town, and it doesn't always look great. It's just a lot to maintain, and it's a lot of work. So if we can help ensure that it's consistently a pleasant view, then I think we all think it's a worthwhile project.
Logan estimates the total cost will be around $50,000 to $60,000. Washington and Lee and VMI both pledged $10,000 to the project, and last week the Lexington City Council agreed to do the same. MSL plans on seeking remaining contributions from other local businesses and citizens of Lexington. The design features 3 stone flower beds forming the shape of a circle, with Lexington, established 1778, written on the bed that faces traffic. Logan says the upgrade ensures a more consistent look, fits the aura of the town, and will be less labor-intensive than keeping the space cultivated with seasonal flowers.
It is the entrance into our great city after you've gone through quite a long stretch of the VMI post. And for many visitors, they're not sure what that is.
Logan says there has been a lot of support for the new project, and many people are excited for the upgrade.
Well, it's always exciting to have something new in town.
Rebecca Logan says that construction will begin in early spring when the weather gets a bit warmer, and at max, construction will take a month to complete. With the Rockbridge Report, I'm Ian Dardney.
Local businesses are going green. We'll tell you what Main Street Lexington is doing to reward them. And then, President Biden is trying to unite the world to fight against climate change. We'll have the details on what he said at the COP26 in Scotland. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Main Street Lexington is collaborating with the Rockbridge Area Conservation Council to reward businesses producing less plastic waste. The program is called Caught Green-Handed and recognizes restaurants, caterers, and other food service providers. Main Street Lexington Executive Director Rebecca Logan said that because of Lexington's poor recycling program, the focus is on reducing plastic use instead. 6 businesses have been caught green-handed so far, but 4 have been officially recognized. Businesses need to meet 4 out of 8 criteria for plastic reduction to be recognized and receive a window sticker for their storefront. Read Simon Radova's full story on our website. A pivotal moment for President Biden on the world stage. As he called for cooperation to slow global warming, Biden just returned from the COP26 in Scotland. CNN's Caitlin Collins has details.
President Biden issuing an urgent call for action.
We meet with the eyes of history upon us.
At the biggest global climate summit in years, the president warning the planet is in peril and the world is at an inflection point.
Will we act? Will we do what is necessary? Will we seize the enormous opportunity before us?
Biden pledging the U.S. will take the lead on combating climate change as his own climate ambitions face critical tests at home and abroad.
My administration is working overtime to show that our climate commitment is action, not words.
Biden promising the U.S. will keep its word and apologizing after his predecessor withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accords.
I guess I shouldn't apologize, but I do apologize for the fact the United States, the last administration, pulled out of the Paris Accords and put us sort of behind the 8 ball.
The president touting his own plan to reduce emissions that's still awaiting passage by Democrats in Washington.
My Build Back Better framework will make historic investments in clean energy.
While the president's top aides plan to show a force at the Global Climate Summit in Glasgow, there were some notable no-shows, including China, the world's biggest polluter, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. Biden calling their absence a disappointment.
Not only Russia, but China basically didn't show up in terms of any commitments to deal with climate change. And there's a reason why people should be disappointed in that. I found it disappointing myself.
Hi, we're back with a live look at downtown Lexington. As you can see, it was a little cloudy today, but there was some sun as well. The high was 50, the low was 28. The barometric pressure is 30 and 28 inches of mercury. The wind speed is 6 miles per hour and the humidity is standing at 45%. For a quick look at radar, as you can see, there's not a rain cloud in sight. There is some rain in the eastern part of the state, but we don't have to worry about that out here. And regional conditions, as you can see, temperatures generally in the upper 40s, cloudy and sunny across the region, 49 degrees in Charlottesville, 47 degrees in Buena Vista, 47 degrees in Lexington, 46 degrees in Stanton, and 45 degrees in Covington. A quick look at the 5-day forecast. the sun comes back out and is here to stay. Friday and Saturday, highs still in the lower 50s, so cooler days, especially chilly at night with lows in the mid-20s. But then the Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, temperatures really start to hike up into the upper 60s, almost to a high of 69 on Tuesday, almost into the 70s. Nighttime temperatures rise as well. And coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, a local library celebrates its 75th anniversary. Learn more about their programming later, and we'll tell you what to look forward to. And see a Colorado high school senior finally play in the last game of his season. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. The Rockbridge Regional Library System just marked its 75th anniversary, and as the library services ramp back up, it's starting new programs and looking to the future. Tori Johnson reports.
The Rockbridge Regional Library System took funding hits from the pandemic, but it's turning new funding into more opportunities for the community. The library terminated some employees due to reduced funding from Lexington and lost funding from the state of Virginia. Mayor Frank Friedman says city funding levels for the library are back to normal. The library hopes to expand services to Fairfield, Virginia, adding a holds locker for residents to drop off and pick up materials. That funding will also go to more mobile hotspots for rural patrons. And the library system has decided to stop charging fines, says Adult Services Manager Debbie Ratliff.
A lot of times people have a big fine, they just never come back. We never get the money, but they just never come back. So it was a move to just provide more equitable service.
Online programming is a surprising new draw.
I think there are a lot of people that found their way back to the library who had otherwise lost their way.
Ratliff's 3 adult book clubs converted to online programs.
A lot of people are really anxious to get back to meeting here in person at the library, and then others are happy to just continue online from now on.
Outdoor children's programs, working with Legos and playing ukulele, are extremely popular, says Youth Services Manager Carol Elizabeth Jones. The library is now the only way to get passport applications in the area.
But when they come in for their passports, it's very often that we hear people say, I've never been in here before. I didn't know you had all this and you did all this.
The library provides help with job applications, genealogy research, and finding any kind of information. And the library's rabbit, Happy Day, provides physical comfort.
It's a place that's alive and it's relevant and it's happening. It's not musty or outdated or any of those things.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Tori Johnson.
We're back now, and it's time to talk some sports. I'm James Laverty. Atlanta fans have longed to hear it for the first time since 1995. The Atlanta Braves are world champions. The Braves took Game 6 in Houston 7-0 thanks to 6 shutout innings from Max Fried and home runs from Dansby Swanson and Jorge Soler. Soler won the MVP, while third base coach Ron Washington finally got a World Series after spending over 50 years in major league organizations. The Braves will hold their celebratory parade tomorrow. And back to Lexington for some high school football. The Rockbridge County Wildcats came into this weekend's game fresh off of their worst loss of the season, a 42-0 loss to Broadway. The Wildcats knew Harrisonburg would be a challenge. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, and the Wildcats are down 32-25. After an 11-yard touchdown pass from Miller J. to Isaiah Williams, the Wildcats elected to go for 2 with 1 minute and 36 seconds left in the game. The Wildcats would go on to lose 32-31. They conclude the regular season tomorrow at home at 7 p.m. versus Turner Ashby. Before the game, they will honor the 11 graduating seniors. The Perry McClure Fighting Blues had a more enjoyable weekend as they finished up their regular season with a 49-0 victory over Bath County. The win was their 6th straight, and they will play Eastern Montgomery for the Pioneer District title on the road tomorrow at 7 p.m. Both Jackson Brockenbrough and John Snyder ran for over 130 yards, while John Snyder also went 7 for 7 on point-after kicking attempts. And over here on campus, the Generals football team continued their winning ways in another thriller. Sophomore kicker Arturo Ramirez pulled one out of the Adam Vinatieri playbook as he kicked a 38-yard field goal as time expired to give Washington and Lee a 30-28 win over Emory and Henry. The Generals improved to 7-1, and they are 4-0 in conference play. They play at home versus Ferrum College Saturday at 1 p.m. And on the soccer field, the Generals lost a heartbreaker in the ODAC semifinals last night. With just 30 seconds remaining in overtime, the 4-seeded Randolph drew a foul inside of the penalty box. Senior Evan Blow scored on the penalty kick to hand the Generals their first loss of the season and send the Wildcats to the ODAC championship. And outside the lines, a difficult story for us to report, as former Las Vegas wide receiver Henry Ruggs was driving 156 miles per hour just seconds before colliding with another vehicle on Tuesday, killing one person, prosecutors said, during Ruggs' first court appearance on Wednesday. The 2020 first-round pick out of Alabama was said to have a BAC level twice the legal limit, as Raiders quarterback Derek Carr stated Ruggs had texted him a video of him at a Topgolf just hours before the crash. The Raiders, who recently fired their embattled head coach John Gruden, released Ruggs shortly after hearing the news. And in a little brighter news, there's been a lot of special plays on the football field, and one Colorado Springs high school team just experienced one. Rob Namnom reports.
Before Banning Lewis's final game of the year against Trinidad, Isaiah Acosta sent head coach Nick Only a text.
First time I text coach, say, hey, can I play? And that coach would say no.
Coach said no because secretly he was planning on having Isaiah play.
This young man wants to play football. We're going to let him get a play. Him asking to do it just made it even better.
And what made it even better is that Isaiah was told in the locker room right before the game.
He said that I could play. I was so happy. This is the day I've been waiting for.
We were all so happy for him. When we saw him with the pads on, everyone is fist bumping, so happy. Just watching him live his dream is what we got.
Part of the dream was allowing Isaiah to be the captain. Senior captain Caden Levi selflessly gave up his captaincy.
Coach told me that we were going to suit Isaiah. I told him that I would want him to go out to the coin toss for me, so I would allow Isaiah to be the captain, and I thought he deserved that.
Isaiah went out for the coin toss and called tails. He made the right call as Banning Lewis won the toss, but the call of the game was a play called Isaiah the GOAT.
So I walked out there and I called the play Isaiah's the GOAT, and then broke the huddle, walked up there. I told him where to stand and how we were going to do it.
In my mind was like, I'm ready for it.
And told him that I loved him right there.
Isaiah ran 75 yards
Go Isaiah!
And scored a touchdown.
Feels so great. It was like, I don't know, it was the best day of my life ever.
That's all for today's edition of the Rockbridge Report. Join us on Tuesday for a Rockbridge Live update. Keep up to date on regional news by visiting rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thanks for joining us.